Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week live on Facebook. So we're definitely living in interesting times right now. There's no way of getting around it that the coronavirus has impacted all of us, not only on a personal level, but also in a professional level and almost every area of our lives. And during times like this, I think it's important for us to just pause and kind of get our bearings about ourselves. Hi, Rob Martin. Great to have you join us. Because one of the things that happens, probably one of the most prominent things that happens in times of crisis like this is fear shows up. And that's not at all a bad thing, and it's not an uncommon thing. It's a natural reaction when our lives have been upset the way that they have. And what's really interesting about that is fear often and sometimes isn't even a bad thing. I mean, it helps to focus greater on what's in front of us at times. I've been teaching adrenal self-defense classes for over 20 years. And when we take people through those programs, they actually tap into their fear, and you can actually see how they can use fear to their benefit because it helps them find a power that they didn't even know they had. But the problem is when we allow fear to overtake us, when we allow it to cloud our thoughts, when we allow it to get us thinking in a way that our fear projects onto other people with blame and with paranoia and things like that. And also when we get so fearful that we're very, very clouded in terms of what's going on right in front of us. Hi, Danny. Good to have you join me. So the idea there is, what do you do with this fear? And how do you move through it? And in this time of crisis that we're experiencing across the world, it's not just limited to our communities, but this is our planet. What do you do? Well, the first thing you do is you take appropriate action. And of course there's an importance in terms of what we're doing in terms of frequent hand washing and social distancing and disinfecting, and if we are feeling sick, making sure that we're getting tested and or quarantine ourselves so that we're not spreading it. So those are the practical things. But what are the things beyond that we can do to make sure that we're not only showing up at our best, but also we can actually use this experience, as scary as it is, for our own upliftment and growth and means of being able to serve others. So I'd like you to consider 4 things that I've thought about that I'm really committed to working on during this time and spreading the word on. And hopefully you can commit to do this too, so we can make sure that we come out of this experience even stronger. See, because when we're in fear, it's generally we're fearful of 2 things. We're fighting what is, and we're also scared of what will be. And the challenge with that is when we stay in that, we get in a cycle where we're not doing any type of movement. So what's the first thing we can do in terms of dealing with this fear? The first thing that I'd recommend is that we feel it. As uncomfortable it is, we feel the fear, we let it pass through us, and then we surrender to it. Now, hold on for a minute. When you hear me say the word surrender, I'm going to explain in a minute what I mean. But the first thing is we actually feel it. We don't suppress it downward. We don't try to, repress it, but we actually let it flow through us. We feel it. We're scared. We just let it come up, and we deal with it for what it is, and it's a feeling. And then after that, what we do is we surrender to it. But what I mean by that is this. It doesn't mean giving in to it. It doesn't mean shirking our responsibilities. It doesn't mean hiding. In fact, it's just the opposite of that. It means giving up our limited ways of belief. It means giving up our limiting patterns that we've used in the past. And it also means giving up fighting what is. Because it's about the first step in transformation is to accept what is and then decide what action you're going to do to overcome it. One of my favorite authors is Byron Katie, and she quips, she says, "When I fight with reality, I always lose, but only 100% of the time," right? So when fear comes up, don't fight it, let it come up. Don't fight the circumstance, let it flow through, but then decide what you're going to do to overcome it. Number two is, we've all heard the saying, stop, drop, and roll. Well, I've got my own little version of that, and it's stop, drop, and breathe. Stop, drop, and breathe. So when we're in the height of that fear, the best thing we can do is just take a moment and stop. Take a look at things for what they really are. Not the story that we're playing about, but look at them objectively. Then drop. And what that means is dropping from being in our head and drop into our hearts. Just kind of take that moment, because our hearts are what's going to give us the direction that we need during those times of crisis and during those times of when we're charged up. And then finally, it's breathe. Take some time to take a few breaths. And from that standpoint of stopping, dropping into your heart and breathing, getting your composure, now you can get your wits about you and take appropriate action. Number three is probably one of the most important ones and one we overlook all the time. It's that when you need it, ask for help. If you're in need of something, if you're in need of service, if you're in need of to just talk to someone about what's going on, make sure you take the time to ask for help. Because asking for help, my friends, isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. So if you're out there and you need some help and you need to reach out, if you need to reach out to me, you need to reach out to your family, your friends, your mentors, whatever, make sure you do it. And then finally is take action. Take action. Once you've composed yourself, once you've looked at something for what it really is, what are the things you can do? Because one of the ways that we can get out of our heads is to actually move. Now, taking action might be exercise, it might be getting out in nature so we can get out and break the pattern of what's going on, or it might be taking the action on the things we need to do to overcome the obstacle. I love Oprah, okay? I'm not ashamed to say it. And one of the things that she says is when you don't know what to do, just make the next right move. And then after that, the next right move. And then after that, the next right move. You don't have to have the whole picture in front of you, but just take the next right move. So friends, it's been my intention that these 4 steps can help you as you're moving through in your personal lives, in your business, in your profession, whatever that is. When you're feeling that fear, how can you use it as a means of actually helping catapult you to move through this obstacle? And I just want to say one more thing. We are an incredibly resilient country. We're an incredibly resilient people, and we can get through this. But we have to stick together. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in our family, in our staffs, in our business partners, whoever it is. We need to believe, and when we do that, we're going to get through this. I can promise you that. And one final thing. Got a free gift for you here. Safety is really important during this time as well. Just check on the link below. My free gift to you is a new app called eBodyguard. And this is, you'll take a look at the details. It's the first app out there that does voice activation to 911 if you need help. And there's more details as well. But it's a free offer to you just by clicking below. And make sure you share this with as many people as you can, because in this time of need, this time of fear, many people want to feel safe, and this might be a great way. So that's my free gift to you. So anyway, everybody, this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. I believe in you, I believe in us, and I know that we can get through this time. And we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.